And howdy folks, it's Peter Rogers, Nick Lilia here, taking a look at your tropical update for September 12th of 2020, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling. I got a lot to get to, so we're going to jump right into it. Sally got a name a little bit earlier today, so Tropical Depression 19, now Sally. There is Tropical Depression 20 out there. We won't really have time to talk about it, but it's the wave that's floating around there in the Atlantic off the coast of Africa. First things first, Bermuda is going to be dealing with Paulette, perhaps as a Category 2 hurricane as it passes by. It may take a direct strike from Paulette as well. Wind currently at 70, gusting to 85, down at 981 millibars. Pegged to be a Category 1 hurricane here shortly. Tropical Depression Rene is going to continue to float around in the open Atlantic and not really bother anybody. Wind at 35, gusting to 45. It's going to curlicue around for a while and probably stay out to sea and eventually fall apart. But all eyes are on Tropical Storm Sally, currently into the Gulf of Mexico and passing over right now some of the warmest waters that it's going to see in its lifetime. It's going to wrap itself up as we head through the next 24 to 48 hours, and by the time we get toward Monday, it's going to be just off of the off to the south of the coast of Alabama near Mobile. Easy for me to say. Wind at 40 miles an hour, gusting to 50, down at 1,003 millibars. You can see how this is going to take kind of a curlicue path itself. Going to drift off to kind of the west-northwest, and then slowly, and I mean slowly turn back around to the northeast. There's even a chance that it completely stalls out in here for a short period of time. And that's going to lead to a whole mess of rain. Now, we also have the other wave that's in the tropics with a 10 to 20% chance of development. We also have the other wave that's just off the coast of Africa with a 50 to 60% chance of development. Of course, the Tropical Depression number 20 is right down here. And again, we just don't have time to get to that this evening. Spaghetti plots on Sally. I want to highlight something very quickly for folks. Notice how we've got a pretty decent cluster in here as we head through Sunday night. So through tomorrow night, we're feeling pretty good that it's going to be just off to the south of Panama City, kind of somewhere in the central to northern Gulf of Mexico. Now, in just 24 hours later, give or take, by Monday, look at the spread. It could be near Panama City, according to some models, or still out into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center, again, does take it, if we were to build kind of a fence from one side to the other side, kind of somewhere in there. I wish that wasn't arrowed. There we go. Kind of somewhere in here to make landfall. But we do have, unfortunately, a fair number of models on either side of that cone that the National Hurricane Center comes out with. On top of that, as it makes its turn to the north, notice the Tab D model over here. That's the one I like to use when we're talking about very strong tropical systems. The Tab S model, it's kind of hidden, but it's over here. And then the medium one is, kind of somewhere in here. So the stronger it gets, the sooner it gets. The idea is that it's going to turn sooner. The longer it stays kind of weaker, the more likely it is to make it further off to the west. And somewhere in the middle ends up, as you would imagine, somewhere in the middle. Now, that's usually standard for all tropical systems, no different in this case, and that's highlighted by our spaghetti plots here. The official forecast cone, as you can see, take it, and there we go. I'm not quite sure why that just changed over to the other models, or the other graphics here, but you can see that it does take it and kind of turn it. So there is a chance that this rides up and never even makes it to South Mississippi or even Alabama and turns into the panhandle of Florida. There is also a chance, an equal chance, that it gets all the way out here to Louisiana. It is currently, again, going over the warmest water that it is going to see. It's not the only game in town, so I need to walk us through a couple of the other guys that are out here to look at. According to the GFS, we've got the wave 50 to 60%, Tropical Depression number 20, Tropical Depression Rene, soon to be Hurricane Paulette, and Tropical Storm Sally into the Gulf of Mexico. This is by Monday at 9 o'clock at night. Notice that Sally here doesn't make a lot of headway from Monday to Wednesday, and that's why we're concerned about very heavy rain and flooding across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. Renee kind of falls apart. We've got a tropical depression here and the wave over here. This is by, there we go, by Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And here we are by Thursday. Notice that, Sally really hasn't moved much. Your one wave has started to make a right-hand turn and goes off to the north. Paulette's gone. Renee's gone. Other wave is gone. That leaves Tropical Depression and number 20 and Sally left over. By Friday, it's still kind of around. Then Sally reemerges off of the coast of the Carolinas and Georgia. You've got Tropical Depression 20, likely named by this point out here. And this is by Sunday, after a weak little boundary rolls through, a weak little front rolls through, to help kind of clear things out for the southeast. It's the GFS. Now we go over to the European, which by Monday at 9 still has this thing again off the coast. There's Sally, there's Paulette, there's Renee, there's 20, and there's 50 to 60% chance right there. And 10 to 20 is right over here. Okay. Setting this into motion, here we go through Tuesday, Wednesday. Notice Sally between Monday and Wednesday hasn't really moved much. Tropical Depression 20 and Renee in here. Paulette is gone, moved off to the northeast. And then we set this thing into further motion, and finally we get rid of Sally by the time we get to Friday. Here's number 20. Here's Renee, according to the European here. And this isn't even the 50 to 60% chance. That's another wave coming off of the coast of Africa by the time we get toward Friday night. And as we go further in time, you can see that the Euro actually has a pretty decent front that pushes all the way south into the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see all the vorticity lined up right along that front. You've got the next wave, Tropical Depression 20, and Renee is pretty much gone by the time we get toward Sunday. I wanted to break out Futurecast just to kind of highlight a couple of different things as we head through the next about 72 hours here. Futurecast, full disclosure here, does not do a very good job at picking up at the tropical rainfall. It kind of airballs. I mean, the chances that we have a completely dry half of Sally is almost zero. You're going to have rain over here. There may not be a lot, but you're going to have some. So keep that in mind when looking at this. So we'll set this thing into further motion through Sunday night. You've got all of your rain on kind of the west side. There's your area of circulation right in there. By the time we get toward Monday afternoon and evening, and now it resembles a little bit more of a tropical storm, but notice where we're dealing with the rain across parts of the Florida Panhandle and lower Alabama, and we've got some of the rain bands moving through parts of Mississippi and into Louisiana. Watch what happens. This is Monday. Let's go all the way to Tuesday morning. Hasn't really moved. Let's go all the way through Tuesday afternoon. Hasn't really moved. And this is why flooding is going to be a big concern, and why some of the global models today, and I'm not going to show the graphics because I don't quite trust the numbers yet. But this is why they were kicking out such high numbers earlier today in terms of rainfall totals across parts of, let's make sure the pen works here, across parts of Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, Mississippi, and Louisiana, because this thing is not going to be in a very big hurry to go anywhere. Now, even after this point, this is Tuesday, after it's been raining for 24 hours in some places, heavy tropical rains for 24 hours, this still has another 24 hours before it really starts to move, and then it's got probably another 12 to 24 hours of moving before it's out of here. So we could be talking about a fair amount of rain for whoever ends up on the west side of this thing and underneath some of these heavier tropical rain bands. We're still trying to figure that out. Full disclosure, we don't have all the answers yet. We're still waiting for the Hurricane Hunter data to come in, and we still got to parse through a whole mess of stuff still. So you got to keep checking up with the forecast and keep coming back for more information as we get it. We can only distribute this as fast as we get it. So make sure if you're living along the northern Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida Panhandle, you are finding a trusted source of weather information, somebody that's looking out for your best interests, and is giving you the information direct from the Weather Prediction Center, the National Hurricane Center, the National Weather Service, and isn't just posting crazy models to get some clicks. So that's my big push here. So there's a look at the tropical update for September 12th of 2020, brought to you by the good folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling.